The one thing that's costing your brand thousands of dollars every single month that you're not even paying attention to is your deliverability. It's not your abandonment and it's not acquiring new customers. What's actually costing you the most is the fact that more than 60% of your list is probably not even seeing what you're sending out. And that's the lost revenue. So in this video, I'm going to bust the entire myth that deliverability is a long and complicated thing to solve. It's just not. People lie about that all the time. They just don't know what they're doing. So in this video, I'm going to show you step by step exactly how to solve your deliverability issue in a span of 30 days. So you not only don't go to spam, but you also don't go to the promotions tab. So let me jump straight into it. All right, so take a look at this. On the left is the before fixing deliverability versus the after. And the craziest thing is take a look at the time periods that we were able to do this. Most people think that deliverability is this long game, and it's not. May 1st to June 1st is when this brand was struggling, and then they brought us on. 18 days after bringing us on, we were able to reverse everything and we were sending to more people. So let me show you exactly how. First, let's take a look at the numbers. 5% open rate to 35% average open rate. Gmail takes up 90% of their list size, which is going to be the same for you. And they were getting 1% open tier, which is insanely bad. Then we transition it to 19%. So still not where it should be, but it definitely improved. Apple, 11%. And over here, we managed to get it to 61%. That's always the second most priority list. And then most people discredit Verizon. They think it's just spam emails, but in fact, that's not true. 60% open rates on that. So very simple path to this. The first thing you want to do is you want to test your deliverability. Okay, and I've outlined all the steps that we're going to cover here. I'm going to test deliverability, show the exact setup, fixing it, the protocol to fixing it within an 18-day time span instead of you waiting months and months for it to recover, and then how to maintain it. So let's start with the first part of actually testing if your deliverability is not good. And so what you want to do is you want to navigate to the homepage of your Klaviyo account. Now I am just using a test account that we usually do for these videos, but one thing you want to go take a look at is analytics, and you want to navigate to deliverability. Now this is going to show you your score over time, right? So usually this would populate and you'll see whether your score is bad or not. And what you want to do as an additional step is you want to send a test email, and all you're going to do is search up mail testers. There's a ton that you can use. I'm just going to use this one. If you want something that is a little bit more in depth and it's going to tell you whether you're landing in the promotions or the spam or the inbox, this is the best one. And it does such an intensive outline of exactly where you're landing versus not. So for example, you can see that it lists exactly what our IP reputation is, where we're being blocked, etc., etc. And then we can go through a content analysis. So you can see, okay, cool, this is where we're being supported, this is where we're not being supported, how can we change it? It gives some warnings and then action steps. So this is my favorite one to use. And you can see that, for example, DMARC is one of the most important things. So this is going to be very, very, very important. And you can see I just sent some tests as our email addresses, and it tells you how to correct it. So this is just going to be really easy. But if you don't want to use something that dramatic, just go to this website. It's completely free. You can copy this and let me show you how to send a test. We're going to go into this email and we're going to go to continue. We're going to edit the email itself within Klaviyo, and we're going to preview and test. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to send this test email over here. We're just going to send it over there. And it obviously we've reached our limit because this is a fake account. You're going to send it over there, and then what's going to happen is you're going to click on check your report, and it's going to pull up a bunch of stats. This is going to be the single source of truth. Now, if you want to take it a step further and make sure that you can maintain deliverability over time, then navigate to postmaster.google.com, and you're going to add a domain. So for example, let's just add mailzy.com. And what it's going to do is it's going to track all of the activities on this domain and tell you whether it's a domain issue, number one, or whether it is actually a IP issue or something to that extent. It will track all your deliverability and domain health and IP reputation over time. This will be able to tell you, okay, cool, let's look at the last 90 days and see which day our deliverability triggered and what did we do on that day. Was it a bunch of bot traffic? Was it a bunch of emails that we sent out to a big list that we bought? Whatever it is, you can go and track that. So you just need to go and do these steps, but Postmaster is going to be the easiest way to track it reliably alongside the deliverability reports that live inside Klaviyo itself. So we know how to test it. And now you got in your test back and you know that your deliverability is shit. You're taking a look at a report that looks something like this. You have a bunch of warnings and overall it's just not looking very good. And you can tell, right? Your audience is not really opening regardless of IP and privacy settings that Apple has in place. So what we want to do as our first step is we want to make sure we set everything up correctly. So the way that we want to do this is we have set up the DKIM, SPF, and DMARC. Let's simplify this so that it's not complicated for you. SPF is basically your IP security. DKIM is email security, and DMARC is basically your like general mail and domain security. All of these combined basically form what we like to call a credit score. This is going to tell the providers that you're safe to land in the inbox because of the trust factor that you have in your credit score with the deliverability, right? And so to build this, what we want to do is we want to head to whoever is managing your domain. So in our case, it is GoDaddy, for example, right? And so we'll navigate to GoDaddy. Let's go log in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to set it up in the correct way. So we're just going to go to my products. I own a bunch of domains, but we're going to use this brand. So this is the Little Herb. We're going to use this as an example. What we want to do is while we're opening up your deliverability, you want to navigate here to the Little Herb and you want to navigate to settings. All right, now that you're in settings, you're going to navigate to domains. And here you want to make sure that you're setting up a branded sending domain. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to say add domain. We're going to make sure that we're sending marketing emails. Next. And here you want to make sure it's the correct domain, littleherb.com. And we're going to make sure that it matches littleherb.com. Great. We're going to say next. Then we're going to make it send. We're just going to leave it as is, make it send. We're not going to choose dynamic just yet, but I do recommend dynamic. We're just going to click on static for now, and we're going to go say next. Then what we're going to do is it's going to auto populate a bunch of things for us, right? This is going to be the settings that we need set up. So we want to set up manually. We're going to say that it is GoDaddy. We're going to say next. We're going to copy paste all of these into our actual domain settings. So we're going to go back to GoDaddy, which is our provider. And this works for Google, Squarespace, whatever you're using. We're going to go to DNS settings. And here we are going to make sure that we add a new record. So we're going to go add, and we're literally just going to copy paste, and I'll show you the first one. I won't do all of them. So this is a CNAME record. So we're going to go back, CNAME. We're going to copy paste the name that it gave us. And we're going to go back here, and this is the value. So again, they just do everything for us. And that is basically it. We're going to save that. All right. And we got our first setting in place. So that is it. It is conflicting right now because I've already got this set up. So once this is actually done, we can go and verify it. So we'll go verify, and it's going to make sure that all the settings are correct, that it tracks all of this in the back end. We're going to say finish. It's going to say verifying, and then it is going to mark as a blue verify. Once it marks as verify, we're going to confirm all of the settings, and that's it. Then you want to go and make sure that you are sending from this specific email. So what you'll do is you'll go to account and you'll make sure that this is your default sender, info@littleherb.com. Okay, this is your inbox. This is where you're going to get replies. This is where you're going to get everything. And this is going to confirm that you have the correct settings. Now, the rest of the settings are very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. So your DMARC settings are basically done. We'll consider this as done. Now, usually you will have a DMARC that is this, right? So you have this, or those were your DNS settings. Now we have our DMARC settings. So your DMARC, you just want to go put this in. And basically, what you want to do is you want to make it P equals none for now. You can just copy paste exactly what you see here. It doesn't matter. And you can then set it to P equals reject later on. All right. You don't have to understand any of that. Just know that once you have this copy pasted, make sure it's a DMARC text record. So what you'll do is you literally copy paste exactly what you see here. Don't change anything at all. You're going to go back to your settings and you're going to make a text record. Cool. And we're going to literally just copy paste what we see over here. So let's move this so it's easier. And you're going to go make it underscore DMARC. And you want to go back and then you're going to have value. And I'll put this in the description so you have all of the settings that you need. You're going to make it this and you're going to save it. Cool. So once that is set up, we should be all good. You're going to confirm and you will have it set up correctly. Then the SPF. SPF is basically just your domain register and it's your IP protection. So you want to go and make sure that you have these settings in, copy paste it. And then what you want to do is you want to go add your DKIM. All right. So for DKIM, This basically depends on who sends your email. So if you have your email set up with Google, so you have a Google inbox, this is not the same as your domain provider. This is whoever your sender is. So whether you're sending from Wix emails, professional emails, or whether you're sending from Google professional emails, or maybe you're sending from another provider. So maybe it's like SendLane or something like that. Whoever is sending your emails, you want to make sure that you're connecting. So whoever your inbox is hosted with, you want to make sure you're connecting these settings, and you'll make sure that you generate whatever's relevant. So if you have a Google inbox, this is going to be it. Your host will technically, and your content will change depending on who that is. You just have to generate it on the back end. So that's it. You have this set up correctly, and now you're definitely good to go. Your deliverability will improve just for the sake of having the correct trust protection in place. A lot of the time, what we see is brands don't have this set up correctly. And oftentimes what you'll see, like we have in one of these reports, is that we have this, right? We have the DMARC equals P none, blah, blah, blah. We don't want that. We want to make sure that in our DNS settings, what we actually have is a DMARC 1 and P equals reject, okay? Just for safety. So if ever you're having any issues with deliverability, you can just change the P value. That's it. Now, let's get to the part that actually matters. We've got this all set up correctly. You know you have it set up correctly. Now what we want to do instead is we want to fix it and put in place the right protocol. So we're in the back end of another account, and now we're going to build a protocol. What you want to do first is navigate to lists and segments, and you want to create one. We're going to create a segment, and this is going to be our suppression segment. We just want to suppress for now. We don't want any overlaps of sending to the wrong people. We want to be pretty strict with who we're sending to for now, and we're going to make it, we're going to make bounced, right? We just want to make sure that we're not sending to anyone that has ever bounced or anything like that. And so what we want to do is we want to do this, and we want to make it bounced email. So what someone has done, bounced email, is at least once, let's say in the last 120 days, right? So they've had a bounce. We want to make sure we're excluding these people from any sense, and that we're suppressing this list. So once we've created that segment, we're going to go here and we're going to suppress current members, right? So suppress these people, cool. Then what we want to do is create another segment. And what we like to do is we like to make sure that we are blocking any non-openers, non-purchasers, etc., etc. So we make a pretty strict segment, right? And the way that this will look, you can decide your own categorization, but we want to say 0 times in the last, let's just say 180 is a pretty decent period. And what someone has done, active on site, 0 times in the last 180 days. And we can be even stricter. We can say what someone has done, received an email, is at least 10 times in the last 180 days. And what someone has done is opened the email 0 times in the last 180 days. Now, what this is doing is giving us a super strict list so that there's no mistaking not sending to any purchases. Because what a lot of people do is they just create this bottom section. Anyone that has received emails but never opened, but they might have privacy settings and they might be an actual purchaser. We don't want that. We want to make sure that we're suppressing people that are really useless to be on our list right now, and we can always unsuppress. That is the main key, is we can actually go and unsuppress this segment. So now we have our suppressions. This is going to be great because this is going to remove anyone who's not engaging with us. We don't want dead weight on the list. So the segment is completely set. Now what we want to do is we want to create one more segment, right? Or technically 3. So now we want to create an engage list, because right now, let's say that your deliverability is pretty shit and you want to fix it. This is the best protocol to do that. First, you want to say, let's make a 30-day engaged. And what we're going to do is we're making a hyper engaged list. We're going to make a list of people that have opened our emails at least 3 times in the last 30 days. You can see we have 19,000 people, and this might be small. I mean, we can even minimize this to 15 days, right? And there's going to be a really small list. So it depends how bad your deliverability is. But if your deliverability is pretty dire, we want to make a 15-day engaged list to begin with. Okay. Then we're going to clone this segment once you've made it. And we're going to make a 30-day, right? So let's do the same for 30-day. And it's going to widen it a little bit. So the first one's 12,000 people. This one's 19,000 people. And then what we're going to do is clone this and we want to expand it even more. So let's make a 45-day engaged. All right, 45-day. This is going to expand just slightly. So now it's 22,000, just 3,000 extra people. So maybe we don't want to be that strict. We want to actually engage it to 60. All right, and again, we're keeping the opened at least 3 times. Cool, 60 is a little bit more. We're going to go with 60. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make another one. This is the last one we're going to make, and this is going to be 90 days engaged. And we're going to make it 90, all right? Now we have 28,000 people. So the reason why we're doing this is because we're now going to build a protocol. And what we're going to do is we're going to send a plain text email to the 15-day engaged people, and we're only going to send to 15-day engaged people for the next week or 2. We're going to send them 2 emails a week. Because these are the people that are hyper engaged. We know we're landing in their inbox because they are actively engaging and opening with us. But the key here is we want to prompt a engagement with them. And what I mean by that is go create these segments first. And again, what our timeline is going to look like is we're only going to send to 15-day. So let's go build this out so you can see exactly what I mean. 15-day engaged equals a 1 week send. Okay. We're going to send to 15-day engaged, and then we're going to extend it. Once we have sent to the 15-day engaged for a week, we're going to extend this to 30-day engaged for the next 2 weeks, right? Then we're going to expand out to 60-day engaged. We're going to send to them for 2 weeks, right? And you can gauge this. If your deliverability is incredible, then you can actually extend way sooner. So let's go ahead and do this. So that's basically how it will look. We'll send to these people. Now, what we want to send to them is we want to send a plain text email first. And this is going to be the number 1 trick. So pay attention. This is going to change the game for how your deliverability recovers, and it's going to change the speed. What we want to do is we want to go create a campaign, right? And we want to make sure it's plain text because oftentimes image damages it. Ability test, right? So we're going to go create a deliverability email. We're going to say continue. And what this is going to be is we're going to choose that list. So 15-day engaged. We're not going to send to anyone else. But what we do want to do is we want to make sure that we're excluding our bounced, right? Just make sure there's no overlap whatsoever. We're going to send to those people. And luckily we did that because it removed 300 people that would have bounced otherwise. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a text-only email. So switch to text-only editor. And here's where the real trick comes in. What you want to do is you want to be very strategic with the send, and this is exactly what I would do if I were you. So what you want to do is format the email to make it look like it's actually coming from a person. So I like to switch it to Helvetica font and change the size. Hey. And now what we want to do is we want to say, it's Sam, the founder. Do you mind if I quickly get some help from you? Right, so something along those lines. We're now going to make it super personalized. I have gotten a few emails lately saying that people are not seeing my emails to them, and we're doing a sale soon. So I am worried you might not be seeing this. Would you mind replying a simple yes to this email if you're getting it? Would appreciate it. Want to make sure you get our deal next week. Thanks, Sam. All right, so there's a key trick in here. What we're doing is we are asking them to please reply to us. We're not trying to sell them. This is a genuine outreach. It sounds like we really just want to make sure that they're seeing our emails because we're launching something big next week. So we just want their confirmation. You can change up the approach, you can change up the wording, but this is going to be a killer, because what this is going to do is, number one, it's a plain text email. It's going to land in their inbox. We know we're sending to a hyper engaged. We know they're getting our emails. But number two, what this is going to do is it's going to prompt engagement. Engagement is the new IP reputation. This is what's going to tell the inbox providers that, oh shoot, this is something we need to show, because like the way any algorithm works, the amount of engagement is a signal to how much trust you actually have. So with that being said, this is going to be the best and fastest way to improve your deliverability and IP reputation, because these inbox providers are going to see even just 100 people replying to this email. That's a great sign. But in our case, we luckily have quite a big list, so we can send this to 12,000 people. And we're going to send a protocol of sending plain text emails to these people. So, for example, a product announcement or bestsellers list or whatever it is as a plain text email. And we're going to change the sender name to Sam from Real Botanicals, and that's it. So what this means is we now have this great email that's going to go out, and in the next week, we're just going to send one more email to the 15-day engage. We're going to see how that performs. Then we're going to slowly increase. We're going to then extend to 30-day engaged in the next 2 weeks or so, right? So we're going to follow this protocol. Once we see that the deliverability and all looks good here, we're going to extend to 60-day engaged. And we can keep rinsing and repeating this tactic of trying to prompt engagement. So we can say, hey, reply to this email with the guess for what you think our next product is going to be. Again, that's going to shoot up your deliverability. So it depends where you're at and how you are. Now, there's two other things that you can do that is going to dramatically increase your deliverability that no one talks about. First of all, what you want to do is you want to set up mass split testing. So for example, let's say that we are sending this email, right? So let's go create a clone. We're going to name it test clone. This is a visual email that we're sending out. Once you start extending to visual emails in week 3 or 4, let's say, there's something that you can do to, again, prompt way more engagement. And what that is you want to go over here and you want to create mass split tests. So you want to create a split test at this time. So let's go do this one. And so you got now 3 split tests here. We'll make 4 of them. What we're going to do with these is we want, again, to show the inbox providers that these are not random emails. They're actually a bit personalized and each one is different, because where they mark you as a danger is if you're just spam emails landing in the inbox. So instead what we'll do is we'll change the sender name here to Sam from Real Botanicals. Then what we'll do is maybe add a little bit of personalization in the subject line or whatever it is. Then this one, we're actually going to make it a plain text email instead of just a visual email. We're going to change this one. Then email number 3, we're going to change it to maybe having a text personalization in here or a code in here, right? And then the other ones we also want to adjust. We want to maybe make the 4th one different personalization, add a specific code, add a dynamic product block, whatever it is, so that it looks like every single one is a personalized, separate, individually created email. These split tests are going to go a long way. Now, the last thing that I recommend for you to do is, if all else fails and your deliverability is not for whatever reason going up, use this tech stack, right? So we don't have any affiliation with them, but we use them for all of our accounts. And this is a secret source that most agencies try to keep behind a paywall. Only if you're using them as a client will they give you this information. I'm not going to do that. Go, trust me, book in a call with this brand. They're super cheap to set up, to be honest, for what they can do for you. And your deliverability is going to skyrocket. Basically what they do is they use AI to personalize at mass all of your emails, which means that they're actually landing in the inbox. Instead of you landing in promotions or instead of you landing anywhere else, they are literally improving the amount of people that see your emails, which is half the problem that you probably have. And again, they're just using mass email personalization, so you no longer land in the spam or promotions folder. They are going to be your last resort. I highly recommend it. This protocol should work, but if it doesn't, they are your best bet. So now we've got a clear, easy fix for deliverability. Great. Now, how do you actually maintain it? What you're going to do to maintain it is make sure that whenever your deliverability starts to drop, you send to the 90-day engage or 120-day engage. And if it's still not working, just keep going down. Make sure that you suppress your accounts. Make sure you're paying attention to the analytics. Every single month, you're trying to see, okay, what is damaging it? Maybe what you'll see in your deliverability score is what is actually damaging it. So let's go take a look at this brand's deliverability as a good test. What's going to show you is where the score is at, right? And so anything below 65 is really starting to become a concern, and you can see what has been damaging your deliverability. Maybe there's a specific flow that's damaging it, right? We don't particularly have any, but usually it will show you a very, very clear indicator, and you'll see, for example, for 10% opens on this one flow. Then you know that is a cause for concern, and you need to add a little bit more additional filters or something in place. Make sure that you're doing that. Now, that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do. Deliverability is a simple thing. Literally just test your deliverability, set up correctly, and then fix it with this protocol, and you're going to be good to go. You will never struggle with deliverability again, and you never have to listen to agencies that try to overcomplicate it to try and sell you a retainer. Don't listen to them. Hopefully that was helpful. Hope this helps your deliverability, and I'll see you in the next one. But if you're looking for an agency to come and fix all of this for you, this is what we do for our accounts, our clients, in the shortest time possible. So go down below and book in a call if your agency either fucked your deliverability or if you just need help with your deliverability and you want to maintain it. Go down below, book in that call. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.